Uh-oh, the girls are fighting. JK Rowling and Emma Watson. The feud has intensified. Plus, we have Blake Lively, who is demanding more money from Justin Baldoni, and she says she doesn't have to prove her case to get it. Oh, really? We have Bad Bunny that's headlining the Super Bowl, and Jimmy Kimmel's ratings have officially plummeted. I hope you're ready for it. We're going to get into all the juicy tea. This is No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, serve fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Hi guys, welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. I'm going to try my best to talk, and my jaw is a little sore. Took some of my meds to help with some of the soreness. But I yesterday's episode was a pre-record. It was the Jenny McCarthy episode. Sorry if I sound like I'm slurring a little bit. Um, I had dental surgery. I had to have a tooth removed. I had originally had my 4 wisdom teeth taken out back in 2018. And then there was still another tooth that was like partially impacted that was pushing on my jaw. And so when I got my teeth straightened, we had to like widen and expand my jaw, but there was still that one like, tooth that was pushing forward. And so we figured we had to take it out and then replace it with an implant. So I went on Monday morning to get that done. Unfortunately, they had the tooth was like so down in there and close to the bone that we weren't able to do the implant at the same time. I was hoping we could just do the implant and all of it at the same time because it was not a fun experience. Okay. It was not fun at all. My surgeon was great. He was incredible. Helped me through it. But I had so much anxiety. I was so anxious. I was like, "Oh my god, I hate this. Oh my god." He was great. He really, really was so good. Um, but yeah, it's talking like I'm still just a little sore and like I'm afraid because you have to keep the little blood thingy in there, the the blood clot in the hole so that the hole doesn't come out of the hole, the pocket out of the socket. So I'm trying to keep the pocket in the socket. But so yeah, it was they gave me I didn't so when I had my 4 wisdom teeth taken out, they put me under. I was like, "Just knock me out. Take me out, put me under." And, they did not put me under this time. A dentist that gets the fear, that is so important. I know. And so, yeah, I they didn't get put out, but they gave me laughing gas, and I was like, "Oh, what is laughing gas?" And then people are like, "Oh, laughing gas is gonna make you laugh," and it did not make me laugh. I did not laugh one time. The laughing gas did not make me laugh. If anything, it was the complete I was just like, oh, I was, like, holding on to the chair so tightly. I'm like, oh, I was like, "Oh, I don't like this." Oh, next time have music on while you do it. I did have music on. They were playing rock alternative music, which I actually really liked. And it's funny, somebody mentioned, they're like, "Jeff was always at the dentist." Jeff and they were I was like, "You're right, he was always at the damn dentist." And it was just kind of like serendipitous that I was in the dentist chair and then they were playing all this rock alternative music and then they played one song that always reminded me of Jeff. And I was like, and then someone this morning was like, "Oh my God, how funny. Jeff was always at the dentist, remember?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah." So I kind of felt like you need headphones. No, I don't need no, because I need to listen. I need to be in control. I need to feel like I'm in control. So no, I do not need headphones because if the headphones are in, then I can't hear and I can't feel like I'm in control. Like I don't want to be distracted. Robin said, "I love laughing gas. It makes me really high and I don't really care what they're doing to me." Yeah, I've learned I have a very strong tolerance. Because even the meds last night, the Xanax, I took a half a Xanax when I got my LASIK done. I realized I've had so much done over the past several years from my face to my teeth to my eyes. Um, yeah, half a Xanax, though it helped when they did my eyes. I don't know, like, they gave me some, it's funny, On my instructions, they said that, like, if I wanted just, like, an over-the-counter pain reliever, I could take Tylenol extra strength, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, let's get back to talking about Tylenol, but on bump." And then I sent it to my friends, and they're like, "But are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Well, it is 2025, and in this day and age, they will try to convince you that men can get pregnant too, so, uh, maybe I am." But so anyway, I don't wanna be in control of in the dentist chair, knock me the F out. Yeah, knock me out, or and then I laughing gas made me paranoid. I was a little paranoid, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." I was, like, overthinking everything, and I was just it was not fun. Um, the laughing gas did not 1 did not make me laugh and did not ease my anxiety as much as I was hoping that it would. And then the meds, they gave me the not Tylenol, but the, acetaminophen, whatever it's called, the Tylenol thingy, that with codeine in it. Like, you can take an ibuprofen or, if you need something a little stronger, you have this, the acetaminophen and the, with codeine, and I tried taking that last night 'cause it's like, "Maybe that'll help me sleep," and it did not help me sleep at all. I was like I kept waking up and waking up and waking up and waking up. So, Mimir says it seemed like the Mormon wives are getting work done just for the laughing gas. The laughing gas is fun. It was a good vibe. I was like, "Oh, this feels nice." And then when it came time to actually do the dental work, and I was like, "Oh, no, it's going away." So, that's called Tylenol 3 or 4. Oh my god, I made it live. Yay, welcome, Dakota. Oh, Christina says, "I love the dentist. I'd rather go there than the doctor." Really? I disagree. Percocet is the way to go. Just have to be careful with Percocet, Percocet. Like, I didn't feel super high with the pain meds last night. I was like, I could, like, handle a glass of wine right now. Like, I'm a horse, you know? You would think in 2025 the dentist would be better. My dentist was great. I loved my dentist. I'm just trying to be very mindful of talking because my jaw is still, but, like, no swelling. I was not swollen at all last night, yesterday, at all. No swelling, just some soreness. Trying to not talk too much. Wine and pain meds, like, right? It doesn't I don't endorse that. I don't encourage that at all. No, doctor's usually hot. My dentists were cute. So, yeah, no one makes Zach laugh. Okay, sorry, let's get it. I went on, like, a 7-minute ramble about my tooth, which now I have to go back to get the implant in because we couldn't do it yesterday. Whatever, whatever. Emma Watson and JK Rowling. So we covered this last week. Emma Watson did Jay Shetty's podcast, and I praised her tremendously for doing the podcast because I thought that her message was really good, right? She was like, I love Joe, who's JK Rowling. She's like, I love Joe. And for those that are, have been living under a rock and are unfamiliar, Joe, aka JK Rowling, is the author and creator of Harry Potter. Emma Watson played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, the film series. So popularity came, to Emma at a very young age. She became rich and famous at a very young age. So, a few years ago, J.K. Rowling spoke out about certain issues related to the trans community, specifically with transitioning minors and like biological men, which can be trans women, in biological women spaces, right? Protecting women from people that were born male, regardless if they're transgender or, whatever. And so she spoke out about those things. And at the time, Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, and Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger, among a couple of other Harry Potter stars, spoke out against J.K. Rowling and basically condemned her. And she was canceled. It was at the height of cancel culture. She was canceled because she was believed, or what I believed was that she was transphobic, because that's kind of what we were told. That's kind of what the messaging was, is that J.K. Rowling should be canceled, and people were burning their Harry Potter books and they were sending her death threats and all this stuff, right? And it's only in this past week that I actually went back to revisit some of that now that Emma went on Jay Shetty's podcast and she was talking about how, she can still love the person and love the experience she had with that person while also disagreeing with them. And both things can be true. And went on this, cute little soliloquy about how, you know, both of those things can absolutely be true. Right. Well, that prompted me to like look into and be like, well, what did Emma Watson say? And what did JK Rowling say? Because, this scandal, I remember it being so big, but everybody hated and canceled JK Rowling. And then she was condemned by Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe. And then I think Rupert, also, who played Ron Weasley, also said something. And then a few of the other cast members kind of spoke out in defense of her. And so she's now reignited it and she's now responding to Emma. And I want to get into that because I praised Emma for what she said about like, that's really good. I think that it's great that we're coming together. I think that it's great that we can agree to disagree and still love each other. Like, I loved the message that Emma had put out there. And I was really, clapping for Emma in that very evolved and mature response to JK Rowling or to Jay Shetty's question about JK Rowling. And then I did kind of look back and I was like, oh, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson did really kind of condemn JK Rowling very publicly and on an open scale. And, and at the height of cancel culture, like it was an interesting thing. Right. And so I'm going to read you. JK Rowling wrote a very, very long statement. Here, I'll pull it up on the screen. That way you can read it with me and we can go through it together because it's very long, but I also think, it's good. Um, okay, right, that's good. Why is this? Okay. JK Rowling writes, this was yesterday, September 29th. She writes, I'm seeing quite a bit of comment about this, so I want to make a couple of points. I am not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with a loss of work, violence, death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay, obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Years after they finished working in Harry Potter, they continued to assume the role of de facto spokesperson for the worlds I created. When you've known people since they were 10 years old, it's hard to shake off a certain protectiveness. Until quite recently, I hadn't managed to throw off the memory of the children who needed to be gently coaxed through their dialogue in a big, scary film studio. For the past few years, I've repeatedly declined invitations from journalists to comment on Emma specifically, most notably on the witch trials of JK Rowling. Ironically, I told the producers that I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. The television presenter in the attached clip highlights Emma's all witches speech, and in truth, that was a turning point for me. But it had a postscript that hurt far more than the speech itself. Emma asked someone to pass on a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single sentence, I'm sorry for what you're going through. And then she puts in parentheses, she has my phone number. This is what I love. When people want to do the little performative thing, they're like, I'm here for you. And it's like, bitch, you have my phone number. Fucking call me if you're here for me. You think I just fell out of a coconut tree? I know what you're doing. You're doing it for all the little cameras out there. This JK continues. This was back when the death, grape, and torture threats against me were at their peak. At the time when my personal security measures had been tightened considerably, and I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured me petrol onto the flames, yet thought a one line expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. But it was handwritten, JK. It's better than a text message. Like other people who've never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of real life, she is ignorant of how ignorant she is. She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed on a mixed sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she'd been in a high street chasing room since childhood. Her public bathroom is a single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside the door. Has she had to strip off in a newly mixed sex changing room at the council run swimming pools? Is she ever likely to need a state run rape crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all female service, to find herself sharing a prison cell with a male rapist who identified into those women's prisons? I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I'm going to read that again. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own life experience what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges. The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she's adopted because she's noticed full throttled condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. Adults can't expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then asserts their right to that former friend's love as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right, and I finally decided to exercise it. You go, girl. You go, JK Rowling. You go, girlfriend. Nobody knows their future. Very true. Very true. But, I like that she's saying, like, I didn't wanna speak out against them in the past because I've always looked at them as the kids that grew up playing the characters that I created, you know? I thought that that was really powerful. But also, she's right. She does have a point to respond now if she wants to respond now because Emma and Dan have taken it upon themselves to publicly comment on her, which they don't need to. They can politely decline. Who's the one that played Draco Malfoy? The blonde one? Um He was asked about it recently, and he was like, "Oh, I haven't kept up with any of that," and he kind of just moved on and skirted past the question, which I thought was a really smart way to address that. You don't need to comment on this, and if you disagree, you're allowed to disagree, but when you take shots at somebody else publicly for disagreeing, that's when there's a difference. So while I did love Emma's message about like, well, I still love her. It's like, well, then if you do still love her, then you need to, pay some sort of atonement for that. Because when you actually look at what JK Rowling was fighting for, she wasn't fighting for the dismantling of the rights of trans people. She was fighting for the protections of women. And are we really in this place where we're like, one of the biggest basic human rights is to use a fucking bathroom in public? I'm sorry, there are plenty of private bathrooms that you're allowed to use. I'm sorry if that sounds like ignorant or annoying, but I'm just like, we're fighting about bathrooms and pronouns. Really? That those are the biggest human rights that we're fighting for right now. That's that's insane. Like it's just it makes no sense to me. It really does not. And I've tried and I still and listen, very similar to JK Rowling because I related to some of the sentiments that she was making. It's like if you want to live your life as a trans person, I will love you. I will support you. I will let you live whatever is your truest identity to you, right? Where I draw the line is don't affect the children. Don't. I am not for, the transitioning of young children that have impressionable and developing sponge like minds. I draw the line there. And I know that there are many of my brothers in the gay community. And, there are many people of the lesbian, bi, and gay community that are also not adopting that ideology either and don't like that that's kind of been lumped in together. And it's true. It's like at one point we were fighting for just everyday acceptance and at one point the right to marry. And, it has gone a bit extreme. It has gone a bit far. And I know that that's maybe a controversial thing for me to say, but it also needs to be said. I am in the place of protecting children's rights and protecting women's rights. And I see more of a threat to those at this moment. Um, but like I said, I have nothing against anybody that is trans or chooses to identify and be whoever they want to be. I think that is a beautiful thing that you have found this deep um, level of self discovery that makes you feel important to you, right? You do what you're going to do by you and all by yourself. And, I mean, that's not saying I'm ostracizing you from the world, but I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna do me and I'm gonna let me and what I do affect me and those around me, but I'm not gonna try to, you know, I don't know. I'm on some painkillers right now. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I'm assuming you pick up what I'm putting down, and it's just it's interesting, you know. I'm not a bot says since when does trans rights trump women's rights? She wasn't speaking against trans, just reminding us that women deserve the same considerations. Exactly. I'm not a bot. That's the whole point, right? Is that women deserve considerations, women deserve protections, women deserve to feel safe, right? And that's not and just because you say that does not mean that you don't support people that are trans or you don't support their right to feel safe and their right to feel seen, but it's like we're in a transition period, right? If like we don't know what that looks like necessarily, and accepting 58 200 different genders and trying to push that on as the new LGBT movement, and it has gone a bit wackadoodle. It's gone a bit too wackadoodle to the point where I'm just like, I don't even understand what we're doing or what we're fighting for. And like, sorry, take me off the mailing list. Nah, I don't even know what the fuck we're fighting for anymore. Okay. I really don't. And then you want to scare people by being like gay rights are going to be taken away because you're not going to be able to get married. And I'm just like, what? But like, how are we making these connect? Like, it makes no fucking sense to me because some wackadoodle Bible thumper lady and some other part of the country like wants to make a petition. You know how many people go on change.org and try to make petitions, but we're going to hyperbolize that in the media to make it seem like the gay rights are truly being threatened. I'm still waiting for the concentration camps. When does that start? When is my first session at the conversion therapy? Let me know, because I'm here and I'm waiting. I'm here and I'm waiting. But at this point, I don't know what the fuck we're marching for. I don't understand. And then I love that the conversation shifts to being like, well, you're saying that, Zach, because you're privileged. Like there are people that fought for your rights and the rights that you have now. So you're privileged. Yeah, bitch, that was the whole fucking point, was to get us to the point where we're not marginalized and we can now be in the bubble of privilege. That was the whole fucking point of gay rights. Okay. Now the gays are now what in now we're too privileged for, like, how much more do we need to marginalize ourselves? How much more do we need to victimize ourselves? Like, it's just a never ending cycle, and we just like keep going down the rabbit hole of like making us more and more oppressed. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking be oppressed. Stop telling me about all the things that make me oppressed. I'm tired of being oppressed. I'm not even oppressed. Let me not be oppressed. Why do I have to be oppressed? Why do I have to be a victim like you? You're literally sitting there and crying to your therapist twice a week. I don't think it's working, Barbara. Sorry. Get me all fired up and have me pop a blood vessel out of my damn tooth socket. Have you seen what's going on with Serena Williams? No. Is she trans now too? The world is going crazy. People can get married, maybe not in the US, but in the UK. Who can't get married in the US? Who is not getting married in the US? My Zactivated Zack Daddy vibes. Yeah. Barbara is stuck in victim mentality and Zach is not. No, I'm not. I don't like being, that's the part that's so annoying to me. I don't like being told that I'm a victim. I don't like being told that my conditions and my circumstances and the color of my skin or my sexual preference or whatever, I'm tired of being told that that's going to hold me back. You know why? Because if I listened to that fucked up narrative, then yeah, I would have been held back and I would be sad and mad at the government and asking for more handouts and talking about why the economy is not fair and talking about, you know what? I tuned that shit out and I built a life for myself. What I have, I built this brick by brick from the ground up. I didn't come from anything. I came from the hood, baby. I came from the hood. Okay. I did not come from money. I did not come from privilege. And even when you say that, you're like, well, but then you're not black. And that's, so therefore you have light skin privilege. And it's like, oh my God, like how much deeper down the victim rabbit hole do we need to fall here? Like, it's enough. Like, I'm tired of this messaging of all the reasons why I'm handicapped. I would rather focus on the things that I can achieve, even if it's 10 times harder, right? I don't care if I have to compete with this bitch and I have to work 10 times harder because she came at with money or she had this or she had a loving dad at home every day. I don't care. You know why? Because I want it more. I want it better. I'm going to get it. And I'm going to work my ass off until I do get it. And if I have to work 10 times harder, then when I get it, then you better damn believe. You better damn believe it's going to mean so much more to me. That's why what I have means so much more to me because I built this with my own hands, baby. You can't take it away from me. It is mine. And I built it. I constructed it with my own two hands and no rule book and no guidebook and no one to tell me which direction to go in. Okay. That was the lack of privileges that I had growing up, but I didn't think about that. What I thought about was my mom telling me that I could do it or asking me why I couldn't do it and telling me that the only obstacles that are put in your direction or that are put in your path are meant to challenge you and they're meant to prove, do I really want this? Because if I don't want it, then I'm going to say that these challenges right here, I'm just going to let them be, and I'm going to say it's too hard. It's too much. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to push that. I'm going to find a way around it. I'm going to find a way under it. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make it happen. And that's how we get better. Is not by continuing to listen to the victim narrative and all the reasons why the world hates us or that we're never going to be successful in life. Nope, not going to happen. Sorry. Look at Serena Williams. If she continued, okay, well, actually, before I comment on Serena Williams, what the hell is going on with Serena Williams? What is the latest controversy with Serena Williams? Oh, Serena Williams displayed fake outrage. What? Hotel cotton decor. What happened? Spotting cotton plant on decorations. Oh, interesting. After Serena Williams was accused of displaying fake outrage and using victimhood for currency when she called out a hotel's cotton plant, her husband jumped to her defense. Last week, Serena Williams went viral after calling out a New York City hotel for using cotton as decoration. Filming a short video of a vase holding a cotton plant in the hallway, Serena said, "All right, everyone, how do we feel about cotton as a decoration? Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great." I bet you the shirt that you're wearing is cotton. I bet you I think the underwear that I'm wearing is cotton. Now we're offended by cotton? Serena then, and don't get into the lecture about like, well, you don't understand. And they were picking cotton in the fields. It's cotton. I can if I walk into a hotel and I see a bowl of oranges, you think I'm gonna be offended by that and be like, "Oh my god, I come from East LA, and where I'm from, my people sell oranges out of the backs of their trucks. Oh my god." Come on. Serena then seemingly removed a piece of the cotton and said, "Actually, it feels like nail polish cotton," before shuddering as she rubbed it across her nails. Okay. Serena's video, which was shared on Instagram stories, quickly sparked a heated response with several internet users accusing the retired former tennis player of displaying performative outrage. Before long, some media outlets reported that Serena actually owned a cotton decoration herself, which further fueled the discourse. Oh boy. The sculpture owned by Serena and her husband, Alexis Ohanian, was made by the late artist Radcliffe Bailey and is titled Monument for Promise. It depicts a donkey carrying a trunk while standing over a pile of cotton. Several internet users called out Serena for taking issue with the hotel's cotton plant while having the Radcliffe Bailey sculpture on display in her home. One person suggested that the athlete was using victimhood for currency, while someone else said the fake outrage needs to stop. Amid the discourse, Alexis entered the conversation to defend his wife. Quote tweeting an article about Radcliffe Bailey's sculpture, Alexis wrote, "Folks entitled to have their opinion, but to use owning Radcliffe Bailey's monument for a promise as some kind of gotcha is so breathtakingly stupid. There's some there's some very obvious symbolism of the cotton in the artwork." You know what else is breathtakingly stupid, Alexis? What your wife posted on Instagram. Um, Yikes. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't see the video, so I feel like I can't. I don't know. But I mean, come on. It's cotton. Does she not use Q-tips? We need a couple combos named Christina. Cotton sheets, cotton towels, blah, blah. Everything is cotton. She's confused. Yeah, that's the part's a little confusing for me. I guess because it's like the display of cotton. But also, if they have cotton in their I don't. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for that enlightening moment. Bad Bunny is playing the Super Bowl. Woo woo. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. Not Bad Bunny. I tweeted and I said, "Oh, when you're expecting Taylor Swift or Adele to lead the Super Bowl halftime show, and then you end up with Bad Bunny." Um, yeah. I don't really know Bad Bunny music. I don't know any of Bad Bunny's songs really. So I'm not like super jazzed about, but he's hot. I'll give you that. I mean, I'm not like uber attracted to him when he's like in a dress, but like he's a cutie. When he was in his Calvin Kleins, that was a hot photo shoot. I think he's very attractive. I don't really know his music, so I'm not gonna be like, yeah. Well, even like Kendrick Lamar last year, I was like, they not like us. I didn't know all of Kendrick's songs. I knew a couple of them, but I didn't really know all of them. And for me, I'm just like, I like a good like show. Like Beyonce put on a great show. I thought Taylor Swift would have put on an incredible show. Adele, I think, could also put on an incredible show because she does so much of her theatrics, right? She's not a dancer, but if you've been to her Vegas show, like it is a performance. So, yeah, people are yeah, I understand the controversies because Bad Bunny's music is in Spanish, which I, I get. I mean, I don't personally have anything against that. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know any of his music. But I mean, I just like, I mean, it may be a fun show. I don't know. I was just more excited when the names Taylor and Adele were floating around. I was like, let's go Taylor and Adele. I was here for it, you know? I was like, yes, let's go. But you got a few months to get to know Bad Bunny's music, opportunity to discover his music now. I just don't care. I don't need to discover any new music. I'm good. Bad Bunny refuses to play in the States because of ice raids. Oh, I've heard about this. But yet here he is doing the Super Bowl. Oh, excuse me. Don't tell me we're gonna get some like. All right, I can already tell you this is gonna be like a new political statement. The Super Bowl. I mean, whatever. So then, how is he gonna do the Super Bowl? AI virtually. He's gonna do it on Zoom. He's gonna zoom in. Be like, I will do it from somewhere else. So I don't know. Well, I look forward to that. Will Serena reject Bad Bunny's cotton tail? That's a really good question. Only time will tell. Taylor is a no, according to sources. Joanna, Taylor is a no. They announced Bad Bunny. That you don't need sources to tell you that it's not going to be Taylor Swift. They've already told you that it's not going to be Taylor Swift. It's going to be Bad Bunny. You don't really need sources to tell us that. Jay-Z would never pick Taylor Swift, though. Oh, yeah. Even though she was in negotiations for it, but walked away from the deal. Yeah. I forgot Jay-Z has control over who does. So Tiffany says, "Can't people just sing? Why does everything need to be political? It's tiring." I mean, people have their rights to free speech and freedom of expression, and they can share it, but it's also just like, he may put on a good show. We'll see. I'm gonna hold out faith to see if he does give us a little something good. But I was just looking for a pop girly to rock it because I feel like they know. Give me a Miley, right? Give me an Ariana. I'll do Ariana. Give me a Charlie. So Jay-Z owns the venue contract, yes. So yeah, we'll see. Jimmy Kimmel, everyone's favorite talk show host, late night talk show host. Um, his ratings have completely tanked and plummeted. So they started off strong and they just continued to circle down the drain, which we all knew was going to happen. And I'm like, wait, what happened to Jimmy Kimmel's skyrocketing ratings? Remember, everyone was like, oh my God, his ratings blew up. His ratings skyrocketed. And then they completely tanked right after. So I think they went from like 6 million to it fell like 64%. Not his show saw a 73% drop after its his big return. And it was in the key demo of 25 to 54. So who the hell was watching it? 70-year-olds? No. So good for Jimmy Kimmel. You guys really saved him. You saved him and you've saved free speech. Just like you saved our country from fascism with the No Kings March. Nap. Okay. That's Bad Bunny. That's Jimmy Kimmel. That's JK Rowling versus Emma Watson. Let's talk about Blake Lively. We'll end things with a Blake Lively update. Ooh, it's Blake Lively. So she is still fighting for her what do you call it? Her 47.1 treble damages and punitive damages and all the money that she wants to get from this. She's fighting for it. She's like, I want it all. I want it all. Now I want it now. All right. Here, let's read through this. So Blake's attorneys write, the Wayfair parties brought a meritless defamation action in New York under California law, using California-based attorneys representing the California-based company, in large part on a complaint Miss Lively filed with the California Civil Rights Department. The court dismissed the Wayfair parties' lawsuit against Miss Lively, including their defamation claim and every other claim they alleged. They now seek to repudiate their invocation of California law to avoid the consequences of their failed litigation strategy. They advanced 3 arguments for why the court cannot or should not rule on Ms. Lively's motions, all of which fail. First, the Wayfair party suggests that this court cannot rule on Ms. Lively's motion because it presents issues of first impression under Section 47.1, including ill-defined constitutional concerns or conflicts. It goes without saying that this court has the authority to rule on matters of first impression, including Ms. Lively's motion, even when, as here, the Wayfair party's own claims and litigation conduct before the court have put Section 47.1 at issue. Nor do the Wayfair party's free speech arguments under the Noah Pennington doctrine and California's litigation privilege change this, as the Second Circuit has not decided whether it even extends to non-commercial litigation. And the canons of statutory constructions compel the conclusion that Section 47.1 carves out an exception to California's statutory litigation privilege. So here she's arguing 47.1, which is basically the Me Too law, the new Me Too law here in California. And she's saying that that protects her. And because he filed a defamation lawsuit against her, that she then can fight back and not have to, she doesn't want this. I believe the Wayfair parties are arguing that this, we don't even know what the determination is going to be, whether or not there is sexual harassment. Like a jury needs to determine that. We need to see this through to trial. And then once a trial is determined and we find out whether Blake Lively is telling the truth or not telling the truth, then you can weigh in on damages and treble damages and yada, yada, yada. And here her attorneys are saying, actually, no, that's not true. We can fight for damages now. And this court, Judge Lyman, can actually determine whether or not Blake Lively gets her damages now. So it's kind of a weird backwards way of doing it. I understand that this law is new. And so there's like a lot of wiggle room here that she can play with. But it is kind of weird that she's fighting to have this judge determine whether or not she deserves these damages up front before it's even been seen before a jury. That's wild to me. Second, the Wayfair Party's argument that Section 47.1 does not apply extraterritorially when Miss Lively is not a California resident and the film was shot outside of California is similarly meritless. None of the Wayfair Party's case law addresses application of the state's law when the party resisting application itself brought those claims under that state law. Even if they did not invite application of Section 47.1 upon themselves, which they did, there exists a sufficient nexus between California and the Wayfair Party's retaliatory defamation action based on Miss Lively's California CRD complaint, the only conduct relevant here to justify its actions. So that's where they're fighting over whether and where jurisdiction over, because I mean, I always thought that, like, well, but Blake lives in New York and the film was shot in New York. So would New York be the most appropriate place? But yet we're fighting for California law to apply here. And she's like, well, that's because the Wayfair parties live in California. Very strange, right? Third, the Wayfair parties argue that the court cannot apply Section 47.1 without factual findings that Miss Lively acted without malice and had a reasonable basis to make her complaints about harassment and retaliation. In effect, the Wayfair parties argue that the court cannot conclude that Miss Lively is the prevailing defendant in the defamation action, which has now been dismissed with prejudice or abandoned in its entirety. Instead, they argue Miss Lively must endure a jury trial to prove that she's already prevailed. This makes no sense and runs counter to the California legislators' express intent. Oh, I love that we're now speaking to the California legislators' express intent to provide remedies to a successful defendant at the earliest stage, typically through a motion to dismiss. In a perverse twist, the Wayfair parties attempt to justify the, I mean, she does make a point here. It's annoying and it's a gross point, but she does make a point that, like, if the case gets dismissed, then it shouldn't have to move forward. But the issue is he's still maintaining his innocence and he's fighting her lawsuit against him. That's what makes the circumstances different. But again, remember, she likes to fit within the technicalities. She likes to squeeze right into the, okay. Where was I? In a perverse twist, the Wayfair parties attempt to justify the exact type of protracted litigation the statute was designed to curb by arguing that Miss Lively's affirmative claims, with which the Wayfair party's separate lawsuit had previously been consolidated, present the same factual issues as her motion under Section 47.1 and thus must be decided together to avoid inconsistent rulings. This is wrong. Miss Lively's claims do not necessitate Miss Lively to prove that she had acted without malice. Oh, okay, so we don't need evidence. We're just taking her word for it. The Wayfair parties did not allege otherwise in their lawsuit and should not benefit from the fact that Miss Lively's affirmative claims remain standing. Yeah, they're still disputing those claims and claiming that they were false and claiming that they were defamatory, but she got off based off of the technicalities. I mean, I get their point. Wayfair is out here fighting for their lives. Like, let me tell you, Justin Baldoni is fighting for his life right now. Truly fighting for his life because it's crazy, 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 crazy. Beth says, now I know why these lawyers are paid so well. They have to navigate all this BS that the other lawyers basically create. Yeah, you have to find all the loopholes within the law unless you have the truth on your side, right? Miss Lively's claims do not necessitate Miss Lively to prove that she acted without malice. The Wayfair parties did not allege otherwise in their lawsuit and should not benefit from the fact that Miss Lively's affirmative claims remain standing. Finally, the Wayfair parties argue that Miss Lively has not established a basis upon which the court can calculate treble damages and cannot establish her right to punitive damages absent of a factual finding from a jury. They said, not so. Miss Lively has already requested a schedule to introduce evidence of her actual damages, which will establish by the close of expert discovery on November 14th, and which the court can then treble. She's crazy. Moreover, California precedent confirms that a judge may award punitive damages under California Civil Code Section 3492. Indeed, that the authority should apply with greater force, whereas here, the malicious, oppressive, and fraudulent conduct is the Wayfair party's litigation conduct, which is evident on the court's own docket. The Wayfarer party should not be permitted to avoid the consequences of their retaliatory litigation tactics any longer. The court can and should rule on Miss Lively's motion at this juncture and set an evidentiary hearing to establish Miss Lively's attorney's fees and damages. Damn. Is it possible that she can drop her lawsuit if she wins this case for treble damages? I feel like it might be possible. If she's just like, all right, done, peace. I'm all good in the neighborhood. Ugh, so much of this is just so icky. Icky, 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 icky. I don't like it. So she's fighting for her treble damages. She's fighting for her punitive damages. And Wayfair's like, we haven't even gone to court. We haven't even seen this before a jury yet. And you're already trying to get a payout. And she's like, well, yeah, because my payout is in response to your case getting dismissed. My other payout will come at the jury trial. But I'm wondering if she uses this to gain a win in the moment and say, see, I won. And then, oh, okay. Not actually Golden said she can't drop the lawsuit at this point. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I'm hoping so because I'm like, I don't want her to win this treble damages thing and then drop the lawsuit altogether where he has no chance to fight. I mean, I wonder if he would then be able to appeal in some way if she gets awarded those damages up front and then they go to trial. And if he's able to then prove that she's not telling the truth, if that would then counter. Yeah, that does make sense for the Wayfair parties, though. It's like, but if she's lying, then it's not retaliation. We're not retaliating against her because she's not telling the truth. And we need to prove that she's not telling the truth before we can even get to that point. I'm with the Wayfair parties here. Like, does Justin have a chance at all of anything now? It's not looking good. I'll tell you that. It's not looking good for him. I mean, there's still a chance, but he's literally fighting for his life right now. Which, speaking of, he also was just caught at the airport by Backgrid, and they asked him about the Taylor Swift arrest, and he said that that's all just rumors. So the arrest that was made with, someone trying to serve Taylor Swift at 2 a.m. at Travis Kelce's home, and then that person was arrested. Baldoni said that's not true. Those are just rumors. So is discovery over today? Oh, yeah. Today's the 30th. So I believe all of fact discovery and depositions are due today. Or I think there was a little extension, but I believe today is the official close of fact discovery. The remainder of the depositions will go on, and I believe that things should wrap by November 14th, and then we prep for the trial come March. So no smoking gun that we know of. Nope. We'll see. Not looking great, Laura, because of the law 47.1. Yeah, it's not looking good because, I mean, it's a newer law. It's a very liberal law here in California, and it can be weaponized. And this is exactly how we're seeing it being weaponized. So, that said, it is a fact that I am over it and ready for trial. I am so over it. I'm so over it. Crystal said, didn't Daniel Feruzin say he knew someone who helped write this? Maybe he has some insight. I mean, I'm pretty sure the insight is similar. Did Taylor Swift get to post? No, she did not get to post, not to my knowledge. Where are they asked two lawyers on this? I don't know. Zack Ryan was on Kimmel. No, he wasn't. Ryan Reynolds. He was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Really? Is that real? I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel, so I don't know. and I'm not like one of those fake freedom of speech people that like pretends they watch Jimmy Kimmel. Ugh, whatever. Okay. Um, it needs to be better put together. I feel like it is an important law. Yeah, I mean, but it was put together at the height of Me Too, so it would make sense. So Ryan was supposed to be on Kimmel, I heard. Well, was he or wasn't he? I don't think he was. Okay. Well, that said, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's interview with Jenny McCarthy. It's so fun. So please listen to it, like, subscribe, do all the things. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our new No Filter All Access. This week, you now have access to our full Chicago show, our full Philly show, and our full Los Angeles show. Get ready, Freddie. I think I need a little nap. And that little deactivated moment got me fired up. And now I'm like, hmm. Jen says Blake's it's another trust me bro filing. So she just keeps pushing that the 47.1 allows her to claim SH and not need to prove it is insanity. I agree. It is insanity. She's like, I don't need to prove it. I can just say it. And because I claimed it and because the law protects claims brought by people that survive sexual harassment, therefore I'm protected. Whatever. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I will be sure to do some review shout outs this week. So leave a review if you want a shout out. I love you. I appreciate you. When did you get Zack debated? What subject? I think it was JK Rowling. Zack, what is going on with memberships? I'm so confused. I need written instructions or something. Okay, Mimir. You click the link in the description below to sign up on Supercast. It's like Patreon, but it's not Patreon. It's called Supercast and it's called No Filter All Access. You just click the link and you sign up, and all of the content will be available on there. There is not an app for it, but you can connect it to your Apple account. You can connect it to your Spotify account, but it has been moved off of YouTube and over to Supercast. So there's a link in the description below. You can click on it and you can sign up for Supercast. And then there you'll get bonus episodes. You'll get access to live streams, all the good things, all the good things. You'll get to meet Zack once a month on a monthly live on Zoom. Yes, we have to get ready for our next Zoom live for October and on our October book club, which will be Kamala Harris's 107 Days, which how long it's going to feel like getting through this book. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I will talk to you later. Ciao for now. Bye. 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 Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Love you. Bye.